So let us start the session. The product of the day is carrier's legal liability insurance. I take you to the background of the policy. The policy is not new in the insurance industry because almost all the general insurance companies, excluding standalone health insurance companies, are having this product. And this is the most sought product for all transporters, carriers, and logistic firms. Why? Because the nature of business requires this product, and this is the only product which comes for their rescue in the emergencies where they have to pay for the liability of lakhs and millions of rupees. So let us understand this product very minutely. Every aspect of it, what is the coverage, to whom it is to be sold, who are the buyers or target segment, what kind of rating should be there, what kind of add-ons are there. Everything we will discuss in detail. So I think you can clearly see this presentation. Is it visible to all of you?
Sir, it's visible, sir.
Okay.
But make it as a full screen so that we can.
Is it clearly visible? Any difficulty? Audio is clear? Video is clear? Both audio and video are clear?
Clear.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I think you can proceed.
Okay.
In case there is something, they'll stop you in between.
Okay.
But seems to be clear, absolutely.
So the name of the product is Carrier's Legal Liability Insurance, and this product is related to the risk to loss or damage of goods while sending from one place to another place. So everybody is concerned about their goods or cargo or commodities when they are sending from one place to another place. In such a case, first of all, the person looks for the ways and the modes by which they can send. So you see, if I have to send something to the people of Chennai, I'll look for the ways. The first one is waterways. If I'm sitting in a city where the port is available, I'll prefer to send it by waterways. If it is sent by waterways, in that case the ship, the steamer or the boats or any kind of a hull will carry it. Another way is airways, where even the port is not required by air, you can send anywhere within the country and even abroad, but we are concerned with the consignment sent within the country. So if sent by airways, in that case the goods will go by air cargo carrier, helicopter or by air device. And nowadays even the drones are used to deliver the goods. Third popular way is railways. You know, in India there is a pan-India network of railways is there, and this is one of the greatest railway pan-India network of the world. So for sending the goods, there are specific goods trains that you call malgadi, or even the trains can be designed according to the cargo or commodities or the goods. Say for example, coal has to be sent, the open wagons are enough, milk product have to be sent, refrigerated tankers are required, petrol, diesels are to be sent, the tankers are required in the tanker bogies in the train. So this is also one of the most popular method. And the last one is roadways. If the goods is carried through the road route, then definitely this will be carried by GCCV, means goods carrying commercial vehicle. This GCCV could be LCV, MCV or HCV, means light commercial vehicle, medium commercial vehicle or heavy commercial vehicle. And this could be a tanker, a refrigerated vehicle, an open body truck or a closed body lorry. Variety of GCCVs are there. and they all are used for carrying the goods from one place to another place by the transporter firms. So this carrier's legal liability insurance policy is concerned with the fourth, that is roadways only, because this covers the risk of road route. If the goods is carried by any kind of GCCB, if it is lost, damaged, burnt, the risk is covered under the policy. So this policy relates to the roadways only. Now, why this carrier legal liability insurance policy is required? First of all, you have to understand this policy is meant for the transporters, carriers and logistic firms. Because they are the people engaged in carrying the goods from one place to another place. And when sending the goods from one place to another place, number of risks are attached with the goods or cargo. Number of. And this number of risks could be accident, fire, overturning, in transit, in operations, like that. Now the important question is, suppose a person like you or me are sending some goods, maybe precious goods or maybe some electronic gadgets. In that case, we will think for one extra thing, that is, first of all, we should insure our goods and then only send the goods through the transporter. Because insurance company will only insure, that will not send the goods, that will not provide the transports. So even if the goods is insured, cargo is insured, and if it is lost or damaged in the transit, it is the duty of the transporter or carrier firm or logistic firm to pay the compensation to the owner of the goods. Why? Because this is a legal liability attached to the goods, because the owner of the goods has paid the freight to the transporter to carry the goods from one place to another place and safely deliver to the person directed by the owner. Now the loss could be under both the circumstances, either it is insured or not insured. But here, the owner of the goods has got an option. If there is any damage to his goods, he can claim the compensation from the transporter because he has paid the freight to him. Or, since he has got an insurance policy, that is marine transit policy, he may prefer to file a claim on the insurance company because he feels that there is a systematic method or process of getting the claim. So preferably he will go to claim it with the insurance company. Now when the insurance company is paying the claim to the extent of the actual loss suffered by him, and he can claim this loss from either the transporter or from the insurance company, but not from both. Because he has suffered loss of 2.5 lakh. He needs the compensation of 2.5 lakh. If he is claiming from both, he is getting 5 lakh. That means he is earning out of his loss. That is a direct infringement of the principle of indemnity. So he can claim either from the transporter or from the insurance company. But he is getting a claim from the insurance company. Insurance company, after indemnifying him, will ask for a subrogation letter. And this subrogation letter is a transfer of rights and remedies of the insured to the insurance company. Because the insurance company has already paid to him the compensation. Now what the insurance company will do of this subrogation letter? The insurer will start proceedings to recover the claim amount from the transporter, because he is the person, he is the firm who is actually responsible to pay this claim. They are defaulters. They have caused the loss. It is their legal duty to pay the claim. If the owner of the goods has not claimed from them on their behalf, on the behalf of the owner, the insurance company will recover. That means under both the circumstances, it is the legal liability of the transporter to pay the compensation to the loss or damage suffered by the owner of the goods. He cannot escape the liability. So under such circumstances, this carrier's legal liability policy comes to the rescue of the transporter or logistic firms to cover such liabilities. Because this is a routine matter. Any day, every day, anytime, any vehicle can meet with an accident. There could be any mishap, any incident which is causing the loss to the goods. And in all circumstances, he has to pay the claim. It may happen that whatever he has earned throughout the year, he has paid more than that for the loss or damages. Because nobody knows how many tragic accidents will take place, how much loss is caused to the goods, and this cannot be ruled out. If an accident has to happen, it will happen. If the loss has to take place, it will take place definitely. If the goods has to burn, it has to burn. So for all these things, transporter is responsible because he has charged the freight from the owner of the goods. So that is the reason this carrier's legal liability policy is required by all transporters, carriers and logistic firms. So this policy is taken by these carriers, but there is an important aspect. The transporter may have owned vehicles as well as hired vehicles. Say suppose I am running a transport firm in Jaipur, Mahadev Transport. My turnover is 3 crores per year. I have 20 trucks of mine, but I don't want to spend money on purchasing the more trucks. My requirement is 30 lorries or 30 trucks. What will I do? 20 I have already. 10 I will hire. When the total number is 30, my work goes smoothly. Now the question is, if the owned trucks are 20 and hired trucks are 10, the carrier's legal liability insurance policy will cover the risk of the goods or damage suffered in all these 30 trucks, or only in case of owned trucks. So here the answer is, this policy will provide compensation in case of all the trucks, all the lorries, because vehicle can be owned or hired, they can be covered under the policy. But the loss of vehicle is not paid, mind it. Carrier's legal liability policy covers legal liability of the road carrier for actual physical loss or damage to the goods, cargo, merchandise. So if there is any loss to the goods in any of the vehicles which is owned or hired by the transporter, is covered under the policy. Now the cover of the policy includes the basic risk like fire, explosion, accidents. These are the normal things causing losses. Fire, explosion or accidents. But in comparison to them, most of the losses are caused by the negligence. Negligence of or criminal act of the insured's employees or representatives or servant or the person who are engaged in loading and unloading operations. So if the vehicle is damaged, that is not paid under the policy, but if the goods is damaged, that loss is paid. And if this is damage due to fire, explosion, accident or negligence, then only it is paid. But in addition, two more risks are covered: right hand strike and terrorism. These risks are covered on additional premium because they are the add-ons, they are the riders. And you know about the add-on covers, a risk which is not the part of inbuilt coverage, a risk which is an additional risk or extra risk. For that, if the insured want, they have to pay extra or additional premium. A risk which is optional, voluntary and not mandatory. And there could be any number of add-on covers with any policy, with any of the insurers approved by the IRD. So this is the coverage of the policy. Two add-ons, four perils: fire, explosion, accident and negligence. Now let us understand the key features of this policy. This policy is for 1 year only. It could be for short term also, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, but not more than 12 months. In that case, it has to be renewed on the expiry date of the policy. It is given to the transporter firm, carrier firm or logistic firms. But the precondition is all the vehicles owned or hired by the transporter must be independently, comprehensively insured under a motor package policy throughout the policy period. This is a precondition. I repeat, the vehicles owned or used by the transporter firm for carrying the goods from one place to another place must be independently and comprehensively insured under a motor package policy. Package policy means covering the third party liability, own damage liability and the PA cover as well as, and only third party policy will not be accepted. And this motor policy, maybe when you are giving this carrier legal liability policy, maybe at that time it is valid. But during the period of the carrier legal liability policy, the motor policy has expired. So in that case, it has to be renewed without break, with immediate effect. Because if it is found that at the time of loss up to the goods, the motor policy was not valid, it has already expired few days before, insurance company may repudiate the claim. Insurance company can reject the claim. That means the motor policy has to be valid on the date of loss. Everybody had to mute. Some disturbances are there. Yes. So the motor policy should be continuously renewed, even for hired vehicles. Because the transporter may say, I own 20 vehicles, I have taken the comprehensive policy or package policy for them. But I am not the owner of these 10 vehicles, they are on the hire. Okay, the owner of those 10 vehicles will take the policy and he will submit a policy copy. The purpose is solved. The ultimate purpose is they should be insured by a package motor policy. Because the transporter does not have the insurable interest in the hired vehicles, so the owner of the vehicle will take it. Whoever is the registered owner as per the registration certificate. Another document required is these all vehicles must be having fitness certificate. They must be in a roadworthy condition. Roadworthy condition is certified by the Regional Transport Office RTO by issuing a fitness certificate. For all commercial vehicles, fitness certificate is required, and GCCB is a commercial vehicle. Next, whatever number of vehicles are owned by the transporter, owned or hired, maybe whatever number he is using for transportation of goods, all those vehicles can be insured under a single fleet carrier legal liability policy. Maybe 5, 50, 500 or whatever it is. A fleet policy can be issued. Single policy is issued only when one or two vehicles are there. Fleet policy is issued when the number of vehicles are more. Now in transportation business, certain different kind of documents are also maintained. First of them is logbook. This logbook is the book which is maintaining the record of vehicle. On what date, which number of vehicle went, where and when it came back. All these details are noted in the logbook. Transporter may find the detail of any vehicle he is owning or hiring. So this is one document maintained by all the transporter firms, insured or uninsured. Second one is consignment note. When a fully loaded vehicle is sent to another place, a consignment note is given to the driver who will hand over to the another transporter where the vehicle will be unloaded as per the consignment note. And this policy is issued for a minimum premium of 500 rupees plus GST. For less than 500 plus GST, this policy will not be issued. So these are the certain key features of this policy. Important of them is policy will be for 1 year only. It can be renewed in continuation, given to the transport firm. Precondition is each vehicle must have a separate total package policy, plus to certify the roadworthy condition, it must have a fitness certificate. And then all the vehicles can be insured under a single fleet policy. Transporter must maintain the logbook and the consignment note, and the minimum premium for the policy would be rupees 500 plus GST. These are a few preconditions. That means all these conditions are necessary to comply. Now, what is the cover duration of the policy? This is the most important point which the transporter firm will ask you when you are going to sell this policy. Cover duration. Because every transporter has to see the comfort level. In this business, the most complicated problem is every transporter has its own go down. But it depends upon their capacity. How many vehicles can be unloaded? At times, the go down is full. Another vehicle has arrived, fully loaded. That has to be unloaded. But there is no space in the go down. So vehicle is parked there for 1 day, for 3 days, for 5 days, for 7 days. As long as there is no space. Sometimes it happens when the season of particular product is there. So all transporters will ask for this comfort from you. If our vehicle is not unloaded, how many days you will provide extra with risk coverage? So we have considered this aspect. Now see, when a vehicle is going from one place to another place, say for example, my firm Jaipur Balaji Golden Transport has sent one fully loaded vehicle from Jaipur to Chennai. Now Jaipur is the point of origin and Chennai is the point of discharge, that is final destination. So the journey from Jaipur to Chennai is covered. But in addition, what is covered? This policy covers, or the cover duration commences from place of origin, that is Jaipur, with loading of cargo on the vehicle and remain until the same is unloaded at the point of discharge or expiry of 3 days from arrival of the vehicle at the final destination, whichever is earlier. Means if my truck has gone from Jaipur, this is not yet started. This is not, the journey is not started. This only the loading operations are going on at the Jaipur and at my godown. But from the loaders, unloaders, there could be any mistake, any negligence, and goods or cargo can get damaged here only. That risk is also covered. At the point of origin, before starting the journey, during the loading operations, if due to negligence any goods is damaged, that risk is also covered. And once the vehicle is loaded, the risk of journey is covered. And when the vehicle is reached to the point of discharge, still the risk is covered. If the goods is unloaded and safely delivered to the owners or the directed persons, the risk is over. If it is not unloaded, in that case, risk is covered for day 1, day 2, day 3. On 4th day, the risk will terminate. So this is very important to understand. What is the cover duration? Commencement of cover will start from place of origin with loading of cargo on the vehicle and remain until the same is unloaded at the point of discharge or expiry of 3 days from arrival of the vehicle at the final destination, whichever is earlier. This is the scenario. This is the cover duration. Now, how the premium rate will be charged? So, in carrier's legal liability insurance, the premium is charged on 3 factors. First one, GVW of each vehicle. They are all GCCB. And in GCCB, the gross vehicle weight is important. And this GVW capacity is mentioned in the registration certificate of the vehicle. So this can be easily taken from the registration certificate. Second thing is limit of indemnity. Means this limit of indemnity is the sum insured of the policy. This has to be decided by the proposer, by the insured, by the transporter. Because they better know what is their turnover, annual turnover. They will prefer to cover the risk of entire turnover. And this is not necessary that their previous year turnover was 3 crores. They should take the policy for 3 crores only. No. If the transporter has planned that he will increase the transport business and will go to 5 crores, so he can take the policy for 5 crores. If he is planning that he will sell few vehicles and he will reduce the transport business to 2 crores only, he can take the 2 crores policy. This limit of indemnity will be decided by the transporter, carrier or logistic firm, not by the insurance company. And the third thing is add-on cover. 2 add-on covers are there. Insured can take both, one or none, because they are voluntary, optional. So this is as per the choice of the insured. Further, the discounting and loading provisions are also there. Discount on the premium rate can be given on the basis of the type of body. The type of body is closed, trailers, refrigerator, tankers. Second, fleet discount. Greater is the number of the vehicle, higher is the rate of discount. Third, past claim history. If the past claim history is good, means claims are not taken frequently, discount can be given. Other parameters like age of the vehicle, that can be taken from the RC, because date of manufacturing of the vehicle is mentioned there. Fitness of the vehicle, type of cargo. Type of cargo is very important because sometimes some transporters are carrying only specific cargo, not the mixed type of cargo. For example, a transporter is carrying the cement only. If it is attached to JK Cement, Birla Cement or Sri Cement, he is carrying the cement bags and delivering to the distributors. So the type of cargo is non hazardous, the rate could be very lesser. Higher is the risk, higher is the premium rate. So on behalf of these factors, the discount can be given. But if at all there is a claim during the policy period, on each claim, 2% of the claim amount will be deducted, that is subject to minimum 5,000 rupees for each and every loss. And there could be any number of claims. Maybe not even a single, maybe 5 or 10 or 50 or 20. Nobody knows about the accidents. And the policy does not cover the terrorism risk. But suppose the transporter has taken the add-on cover of terrorism and the loss has been caused by terrorism risk. In that case, the compulsory excess could be higher, because this is decided by the terrorism pool. Now, certain risks are not covered under this policy. For example, third party death, injury, property damage, which are covered under the Motor Vehicle Act 1988, are not paid under this carrier's legal liability insurance. Contractual liability is not covered. Why? You know why this third party liability, death or injury or property damage is not covered? Can anybody say? Can anybody say? Carrier's legal liability policy does not cover the risk of any third person for death, injury or property damage. Yes, Bala?
What, sir?
Any reason?
The type of onboarding,
This risk is covered under the motor package policy, which is required simultaneously. That is our precondition. So carrier legal liability insurance policy will not pay for this loss, only the motor package policy will pay. Others are contractual liability, goods belonging to the transporter himself or his employees or his representatives. Right and strike risk is not covered, but if the add-on is taken, then the claim will be settled for it. Terrorism risk is not covered, but if the add-on cover is taken, it can be covered. Inherent defect of ice risk is not covered, where the goods or cargo is perishable. It can decay because of the short life. Its own properties can cause the loss without any fire, without any explosion, without any accident. For example, vegetables, fruits, sweets, milk products. The life is very short. If due to any obstruction in the way or in the transit, the vehicle has not reached timely at the point of discharge, The fruits, vegetables, or these items can perish, decay, without any accidental loss. The policy will not pay. Policy will also not pay for consequential losses like depreciation, delay, loss of market, or consequential loss like price fluctuation. Change in law means if the transporter has not complied with the documentary requirement, insurer will not pay the claim. For example, my one of the trucks is going from Jaipur to Chennai, fully loaded. But for that truck, I have only the state permit. So the moment the vehicle crossed the state boundaries, the vehicle was seized when it entered into the another state, because the permit was not there. If it has to travel across India, then all India permit is required. Or in case the fitness certificate is not there. So under these circumstances, this policy will not settle the claim. Now, if at all there is any loss under the policy, the first duty of the transporter or the insurer is to intimate the insurance company immediately. Because the insurance company will immediately check the record, and if they found that they are on the risk, their liability is there, they'll report a surveyor, and the surveyor will immediately rush to the place of incident. There he will physically verify the loss or damage. He will take the photographs, he will prepare the report, he will give the assessment, and on that basis of assessment, the claim will be settled. So this immediate intimation will serve the purpose of physical verification of loss or damage by a certified person who is a licensed person, who is a competent person. But while settling the claim, certain kind of documents are required. Because in transport business, there are few different kind of documents are there. What documents are required? First, the motor package policy will be checked, whether it is valid on that date or not. Registration certificate issued by the RTO. Agreement letter, if they are carrying the goods of some specific firm or company. Certificate of registration. There is a difference between RC and certificate of registration. RC is the document issued by the RTO for providing the ownership to the buyer with complete detail of the vehicle. But the certificate of registration is issued by the Transport Department under the provisions of the Carriage by Road Act 2007. This is the kind of authorization which is giving the permission to the transporter to engage in the transportation business. So both these documents are required. There may be some firm which is in the interior or in the villages, or maybe having only few vehicles, who is doing the business without the certificate of registration. Otherwise, normally every transporter have certificate of registration, and this is displayed in their offices. Then the fitness certificate of that vehicle, claim form, goods receipt, and good forward note. This goods receipt, GR or Liability, is a document issued by the transporter firm to the owner of the goods. This is a one-page or half-page document, but this is having the complete detail of the goods. The item, the value, the quantity, the weight, the name of owner, where from, where it will go, where to it will go, on what date it will go, like that. Complete detail will be there in the GR. Another document is good forward note. Means what are the goods forwarded in this vehicle. The detail of each item is mentioned. So when you are giving the policy to any of the transporters or carriers, That time these documents are not seen or not checked except RC or motor package policy. But at the time of claim, insurance company will ask for all the documents to settle the claim. And when we are giving this policy to any of the transporters, you need a bare minimum information to generate the quotes. How many number of vehicles are there? What is their GVW as per RC? What is the limit of indemnity selected by the firm, transporter firm? What add-ons they have selected? Both, one or none. What is the type of vehicle body? Closed, tanker, refrigerated. What is the age of the vehicles as per RC? What type of cargo it will carry? What is the past claim history? Whether the moral hazard of the transporter is there or not? Or he wants a single policy or a fleet policy. So this is the bare minimum information required by the underwriter to generate the quote. If the quote is generated and agreed by the transporter firm, the policy will be issued from the supporter. So this is clear. This policy you have to give to the transporter, to the carrier and to the logistic firms. Only when you will confirm that all his vehicles owned or hired are insured under motor package policy individually. And this policy should be valid at the time of loss. A transporter is allowed to carry any type of cargo. Any type of cargo. Except the contraband items. Contraband means which is legally not permitted by the law. For example, liquor, drugs, etc. So the policy is given to transporters, but the transporter may ask you why he should not take the marine transit policy instead of carrier legal liability policy. There you have to explain the difference. What is the difference between the marine transit policy and carrier legal liability policy? So try to understand first. This carrier legal liability policy covers the liability, whereas marine transit policy covers the property. Carrier legal liability protects carriers against their legal liability. But the marine transit policy protects the owner of the goods. An owner could be a consignor, a consignee, a buyer, a seller. Because marine policy has a condition of free assignment. It's a freely assignable policy. Even when the goods is in transit, it can be sold. Buyer or seller keeps on changing. So the marine transit policy is good for the owners of the goods. But transporter is not the owner of the goods. He is only the custodian of the goods. He is sending the goods of another person's, and in lieu of that he is charging the freight. The moment goods is safely delivered to the directed person, his risk is over. So carrier's legal liability policy covers the risk and the legal liability. And this is for 12 months. All hired or owned vehicles are covered. But in both motor policy as well as the carrier legal liability policy, under insurance is not applicable. Because in motor policy, the sum insured is decided as IDB, and IDB is decided as per the table given in the tariff. IDB means ex-showroom price minus the depreciation percentage deducted as per the table. So IDB is the sum insured. There is no question of under insurance. But in carrier legal liability, transporter is not the owner of the goods. He does not know the actual value or purchase value of those goods which he is transporting from one place to another place. So for him, the question of under insurance or over insurance is not allowed because he is taking the policy for the sum of the indemnity equal to his turnover, annual turnover. This policy will pay in full up to the AOA and AOY limit subject to the policy deductibles. Now what is AOA and AOY? Any one accident and any one year. Any one accident and any one year. So how this any one accident and any one year is decided? This is the duty of the transporter or the carrier or the logistic firm to decide their indemnity limit. That is the sum insured of the policy. So how they will decide? This has to be in the AOA and AOY form. So any one accident limit is decided. Try to understand with this simple example. Say suppose my firm has the 5 tankers. They are all in agreement with the Bharat Petroleum. They are taking the fuel from Bharat Petroleum and distributing to all their distributors. Now I have to decide if my one tanker is destroyed, accidented, leaked or burnt, what could be the maximum loss? So to know that, I will first see the RC. What is the maximum carrying capacity? Suppose as per RC, the GVL loop or the maximum carrying capacity is 5000 liters. It means in one time, there cannot be any loss for more than 5000 liters. And the average value of this 5000 liters is, say, suppose 100 rupees per liter. So my maximum one-time loss could be 5000 into 100 is equal to 5 lakh rupees. This is my any one accident limit. If I want to know my any 1 year limit, this 5 lakh into my 5 tanker into 365. That would be near to my annual turnover. So that is the way how AOA and AOY are determined. But in case of mixed cargo also, the transporter better knows in one time what could be the maximum value of the goods. So the premium rate will be charged on this limit. Say suppose the highly inflammable item is there like petrol and diesel, rate could be 1%. But if non-hazardous, non-highly inflammable item is there, rate could be 15 paisa, 20 paisa, 25 paisa, 30 paisa. It depends upon the commodity or the cargo or the nature of items which is carried through the insured vehicle or GCC. So this all depends upon the cargo. This is the policy issued by the company. And now you have to understand that there is an act called Public Liability Insurance Act 1991. This act covers accidental cover for persons handling hazardous substance and environment issues. But this does not mandate the carrier's legal liability policy to the transporters. This is optional. Transporter firm can take the carrier's legal liability policy as per their choice, because without that policy their survival is difficult. It is not that the Motor Vehicle Act 1988 mandates the third party liability insurance of each vehicle. In our case, the package policy is compulsory. But similarly, the Public Liability Insurance Act does not mandate the public liability insurance policy. So now you have to understand, when you are selling this policy to any of the transporter firm, carrier firm or logistic firm, they will ask you one question. Because there may be, the transport nagar is in every city. And every city is having hundreds, 200, thousands of the transport firms. So all of them needs the carrier liability insurance policy. So when you are going to sell this policy to transporters, they'll ask, or they will say you, we are already having this carrier legal liability policy from this such and such company. Because this policy is not new. We are the new entrant in this field. We have introduced this policy 2-3 years back. All other general insurance companies are having their policies since beginning. So you may face this situation. But there you have to apply your marketing skills and convince them that we will provide the competitive rates, we will provide you the better claim services, we are giving you the comfort of loss or damage to the goods at the loading operations and 3 extra days at the unloading operations. Then only you will succeed. But once, if you succeeded in giving them the carrier's legal liability insurance policy, then you also have the chance to insure their GCCBs. You can get a good amount. So that way this is very good policy. You must try and focus on this policy now. Now if you have any questions, you can ask me. Any questions from your end? Your questions please.